Sergeant Marcus Kane's recon mission to Thessia 7 was supposed to be simple. Survey, document, report. No indigenous contact expected. What scans didn't show? The Thessian civilization was matriarchal, parthenogenetic, and had eliminated their male population 3 generations ago. The remaining population, entirely female, had grown up where males simply didn't exist. When Marcus's shuttle crashed, he activated his beacon and set up camp. Then they found him. 8 Thessian women, tall and elegant with bioluminescent skin patterns, staring at him like he was alien, which he was, to them. But specifically, he was male, something they'd literally never encountered. The eldest stepped forward cautiously. Marcus's translator rendered her speech. What are you? Human from Earth. My ship crashed, I mean no harm. I'm waiting for rescue. Marcus kept hands visible. The women exchanged glances, chattering rapidly. His translator caught fragments. Different structure. Is that covering natural? And never seen. Then the youngest reached out and tugged at his uniform sleeve. Marcus stepped back. Please don't. But others approached now, curiosity overcoming caution. Reaching for his uniform, equipment face. Gentle touches, exploratory but insistent. One pulled his helmet strap. Another ran fingers along armor plating. A third reached for his weapon. Stop, please. Marcus tried backing away without aggression, but they surrounded him, touches becoming bolder. One tugged his jacket zipper. Another touched his face, tracing his jawline with fascinated wonder. They weren't hostile. They were curious. Intensely, invasively curious. Like children who'd never seen something and needed to touch it. Except these weren't children. They were adult women who'd simply never encountered a male of any species. Marcus realized. First contact with no protocol for this. How do you establish boundaries with people who don't understand you have boundaries? I need you to step back. Personal space. I need personal space. He gently pushed away hands, but they didn't understand. Or understood words but not concept. One woman reached for his belt. Marcus made split-second decision. He sat down, abruptly, on the ground. The action surprised them enough they stopped, stepping back slightly. Look, Marcus said, sitting cross-legged, hands visible and empty. I understand you're curious, but where I come from, touching someone without permission is not acceptable. Not good, causes problems. The eldest tilted her head. Permission. Yes, you ask, I say yes or no, then you touch or don't. Understand. They exchanged glances. The concept was clearly foreign but not incomprehensible. Finally, the eldest said, We ask, may we examine you? Marcus considered. They'd touch regardless, fighting would escalate, but maybe he could control the situation. You may look, some touching if I say where, but gently, and you stop when I say stop. Agreed. Agreed. Tentative arrangement between species who didn't understand each other. But a start. What followed was the strangest hour of Marcus's career. The Thessian women examined him like scientists studying a new specimen, which they were. They'd never seen a male. They were trying to understand what made him different. He allowed them to touch his hands. Their fascination with his fingers, larger and rougher than theirs, was evident. He let them examine his hair, different texture. He showed equipment, explaining what each piece did, but he maintained boundaries. When one reached for his face too invasively, he gently moved her hand. Not there, too close. When another tried unfastening armor, no, that stays on. Protection. They tested boundaries constantly, not from malice but pure curiosity. Exhausting, like managing students who'd never learned personal space. Through halting communication, Marcus learned more. The eldest, Vara, was a scholar studying old texts about ancestors. She knew, academically, that males once existed, but knowledge was historical, abstract. She'd never seen one. Our ancestors removed males 3 generations ago, Vara explained. They caused conflict, violence, instability. Without them, we achieved peace, harmony, progress. So you eliminated an entire sex. Marcus tried keeping judgment from his voice. We eliminated the need for them. We reproduce through technology now, ensure only female offspring. Males became obsolete. That's not how it works where I come from. We need both. Male and female, different but both necessary. Why necessary? Because we complement each other. Different perspectives, strengths, both together create balance. Vara considered. You believe males are not inferior. No, just different. Like you and I are different, neither inferior, just different. Concept clearly challenged everything they'd been taught. One younger woman, Lissa, asked shyly, "Are all males like you? Different structure, voice, everything." "Human males, yes. But we're all individuals. Some bigger, smaller. Different personalities, skills, like you're all women but not all the same. We were taught males were dangerous, aggressive, violent. Some are, some women are too. But most of us are just people, trying to live, do our jobs, be decent." Marcus gestured to himself. "I'm a soldier, trained for combat. But right now, I'm just trying to survive until rescue and not cause interstellar incident." Vara smiled. "You are handling it well, considering." Over hours waiting for rescue, unexpected dynamic developed. Initial invasive curiosity transformed into genuine interest in cultural exchange. Marcus taught about human society, how males and females coexist, work together, build families. They taught about Thessian civilization, technological advances, art, three-generation experiment in single-sex society. "Do you miss them?" Marcus asked Vara. "Males, your ancestors who remembered, did they miss having males?" Vara was quiet. Historical texts suggest some did, debates, conflicts over the decision. But advocates argued peace and progress were worth sacrifice. "And do you have peace, progress? We have less violence, less conflict, but also..." She struggled. Stagnation, perhaps, were very similar, same perspectives, approaches. Innovation comes slowly. Efficiency, but less creativity, perhaps. Surprisingly honest admission. Lissa added, "I've studied old histories before elimination. More chaos, yes, but also more vitality, energy." "Dynamic," Marcus suggested. "Yes, dynamic, we're very static now, peaceful but static." Marcus considered his words carefully. Maybe the answer isn't eliminating either sex. Maybe it's learning to work together despite differences. That's what humans try. We don't always succeed. We have conflict, but we also have that dynamic energy. Because difference creates friction, but friction can create spark. Spark can create innovation. The women absorbed this concept of voluntary coexistence, rather than dominance or elimination, was clearly novel. When rescue shuttle arrived, Thessian women reacted with disappointment. "You're leaving," Vara said. "We've barely begun to understand. My people will send diplomats, real first contact teams. But you taught us important things, about males, about coexistence, about boundaries." She smiled. "About asking permission before touching." Marcus's crash became pivotal in human-Thessian relations. The diplomatic team that followed included both males and females, prepared for unique challenges of contacting a single-sex society, never encountering males. Thessians began debating whether three-generation experiment was truly successful or created different problems. Vara became leading voice in integration debate. Should Thessian society reintroduce males through genetic technology? Meeting Marcus showed us males aren't inherently what we were taught, Vara argued publicly. They're simply people. Different, yes, but answer to difference isn't elimination, it's learning coexistence. We've achieved peace through homogeneity, but also stagnation. Perhaps it's time to embrace difference again. Controversial. Many argued reintroducing males would invite chaos, but others, especially younger generations like Lissa, were fascinated by possibility of more dynamic society. Marcus became unlikely advocate for careful reintegration, not because males are necessary, but because diversity in all forms creates strength. Thessians eliminated males and achieved peace, but they also eliminated entire perspective, entire way of being. That's not peace, that's pruning. Real peace means learning to coexist despite difference. Years later, Marcus received message from Vara. Thessian government decided on pilot program, reintroducing males in controlled populations through genetic reconstruction. "You started something," Vara wrote. "When you sat down and established boundaries instead of responding with aggression, when you taught that difference doesn't require dominance or elimination. That curiosity is acceptable, but consent is necessary." Those lessons spread beyond our encounter. They challenged our entire societal structure. "I just crashed and tried not to cause incident," Marcus responded. "You did much more. You showed us males can be gentle teachers even when faced with uncomfortable situations. That strength doesn't require violence. That difference can be approached with curiosity rather than fear." The exchange became foundation for ongoing cultural exchange. Some Thessians visited Earth, experiencing dual-sex society. Some humans visited Thessia, understanding what single-sex society achieved and cost. Both species learned there's no perfect answer to questions of difference, coexistence, societal structure. Just different experiments, choices, outcomes, all worth understanding. Marcus, when asked about the incident years later, always described it same way. I crashed where women had never seen a male. They tugged at my uniform, violated every boundary, treated me like fascinating specimen. I could have responded with force, anger, fear. Instead, I sat down and taught them about consent. They taught me about curiosity, not bad outcome for mission that went completely wrong. Story became teaching example in both societies. How first contact should be handled. How curiosity and boundaries can coexist. How difference doesn't require conflict. Marcus never returned to Thessia, but impact of those few hours, sitting on ground, establishing boundaries, teaching consent, learning about radically different society, rippled across both civilizations, proving sometimes first contact isn't about grand diplomatic gestures. Sometimes it's about one soldier, surrounded by curious women who'd never seen male, choosing patience over force, teaching over conflict, seeing invasive curiosity not as threat but as opportunity for mutual understanding. And in that choice, building bridge between worlds. The Thessian reintegration program proceeded slowly over decades. Some communities welcomed males back. Others chose to remain single-sex. Both choices were respected. But the lesson from Marcus's crash endured: difference doesn't require elimination. Curiosity doesn't negate consent. And first contact, handled with patience and respect, can transform entire civilizations. All because one soldier sat down when surrounded, established boundaries when violated, and chose to teach rather than fight when faced with women who'd literally never seen a male and wanted to understand everything about him immediately. That choice to sit, to teach, to respect their curiosity while demanding they respect his boundaries became model for how both species approached difference going forward. Not perfect, not always successful, but always trying to balance curiosity with consent, difference with respect.